Shalom, Bruchim Habayim, welcome. We are doing a real talk. And who can be the best for our first real talk but Eric Malka. But today we're calling him Yehuda Malka. Because we are in this beautiful sanctuary in Temple Emanu-El, and we go with our Hebrew names. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you for having me.
I know.
Yehuda is my name.
Yehuda. Yehuda is the tribe that carries the name of all the Jews, all the Yehudim. Mm-hmm. And you're the lion. I'm the lion too. Today I was hiding my lioness, but you're never hiding it, and I love it. And I wanted to introduce you, and I was thinking I'll choose one word to introduce you, which doesn't do you justice, entrepreneur, but what does justice is to tell you that you're a great husband because I know your wife, and you're a great father because I know your two boys. And
thank you.
I think that those are the two titles that mark your qualities, your great lion, Yehuda qualities.
Thank you.
And I wanted to talk about your last name, Malka, which has the word melech, has the word king. So,
wow.
Do you feel like the king of the household?
Yes.
Yes? Good.
100%.
And you have a queen. Miriam is your queen.
Of course, you cannot be the king without a queen.
Exactly. So there you go. You are the Malka family. So, you know, Yehuda, this is an amazing thing that we chose to do our podcast today because this Torah portion, this Shabbat, is Miketz. And of course, there is a king in the story, and it's the King Pharaoh. And the leading character is Joseph. And I'm not sure if you know how many qualities and stories of life you have in common with Joseph. Amazing.
Amazing. I was at a bar mitzvah this weekend, so I heard a lot about Joseph.
Are you kidding me?
No.
From another rabbi?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to attend the bar mitzvah.
Okay, I'll let it go, but I'm going to check to see if you got the whole story.
Oh, no, I didn't get the whole story.
But I got the whole story. This is an amazing achievement that I think every human being should achieve, writing his book. And this is truly your book. It's your story. Mm-hmm. And I found out, because I thought I know you, but I didn't know all your details. I found out that you're the youngest of 4 children.
Yes.
And the only boy. And that's why I said you have so many in common with Joseph, because he was also the youngest.
How many sisters did he have?
No, so he didn't have sisters. He had
brothers. That's right.
But he was the youngest. And well, before Benjamin came into the story, he was the youngest. And also another thing that I read that was so much in common is your daddy issues, which I wanted you to talk also about. And the fact that you were 17 when you came to America, and Joseph was 17 when the whole story started with his brothers being jealous at him because his daddy's issues, maybe a little bit different than your issues.
Different,
but still, jealousy and, not so positive feelings. And the whole thing of him going down, but then coming all
climbing
the way
up.
So tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you coming from?
Well, I was born in Morocco as part of the Sephardic tribe. Mm-hmm. We used to represent 15% of the population of Morocco at one point, which is a lot.
It is.
There's only a few thousand left today. My family left in the late 70s to immigrate to Canada, to Montreal, which was one of the popular destinations for Moroccan Jewish people. Our life was beautiful in Morocco. It was truly, it was like Miami, actually,
really?
The way we are now. Beautiful climate, beautiful lifestyle. We had a good life. I remember it growing up as having a great life. Canada was different for me. I mean, I was 9 years old, moving to a new country, a new culture, and very different climate, different economic situation for my family as well. So that was difficult. It was an adjustment, a hard adjustment. What really saved me, believe it or not, was I was sent to a Moroccan Jewish small school of 200 kids. So I was really in a very, very warm and loving community in Montreal. And that really offsetted some of the negatives of
And the
moving there.
same, you kept your language, right? So that was also something.
French, well,
Right.
yes, they speak French, but I learned English. I had to learn, in school I had a lot of Hebrew. I had
Oh,
to catch
wow.
up on Hebrew. But overall, it was a beautiful experience to go to that school, make a lot of great friends.
And the moment that maybe if you compare yourself to Joseph, the moment that changed
Well,
and started really your
yeah, when I was 14 years old, my father lost his job, and he was having a hard time getting back on his feet. He also had some vices that came in the way of that. And my family went into hard financial times. They divorced. My parents divorced soon after. And I was too young to understand it at the time, but my mother went through a difficult period, as you know. So I was really on my own for a long time, really fending for myself. And I was poor. I couldn't afford basics for clothing for
Wow.
winter. And at one point, I could barely afford the bus ride to school. So I decided that maybe I need to get a job, stop school. So after high school, very few months after I finished high school, I quit and
and
got
you
a
were,
job.
but that's still in Canada.
Yeah, I was in Canada. We graduate from high school earlier than in the
Oh,
U.S.
okay.
A year less of high school, then there's 2 years before college, and then there's 3 years of college. So at the end, it's the same amount of time, but high school ends earlier. And because I'm a November birth date, I finished high school at 16. So I got a job. A friend of the family gave me a job selling shoes.
Wow.
I worked in a shoe store. And I didn't like Canada at all. You know, sometimes when you're young, you blame your life on where you live instead of understanding that, you know, it's not the fault of Canada. I was in that situation, but I hated the cold. I hated the place. I wanted to get as far away from all of it as possible. So I sold a few belongings and got a Greyhound bus tickets to New York City when I was 17 years old.
So you came on your own.
I came on my own.
Nobody took you and dropped you into a pit like Joseph or sold you.
I was in a pit. Montreal
But
to me
you
was
were in a pit.
yeah, I was in a very big pit, which I don't know about Joseph, but a pit can be a blessing.
Of course, it was a blessing for him too.
Yeah, made me who I am, for
Wow.
sure.
So you came to the United States for the American dream
Yep,
on your own.
I came on my own.
And you had a dream, like Joseph. He had many dreams.
I was very ambitious. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was very, very ambitious. I had literally $100. I was illegal alien at the time. That's what we called undocumented immigrants. And I had very little education, formal education, no college degree or anything like that. But I had a cousin in New York, and he gave me a job.
Did you move up from shoes maybe to a tie selling, or what did you
No,
do?
I became a warehouse clerk in the garment district in New York City. But in those days, that was a bad area. Now it's kind of fashionable.
Yeah. Okay.
But back then, it was the center of crack.
Ooh.
In the 80s, mid 80s. It was a rough place, very rough place. So I used to go to work every day in pretty desolate warehouse in the middle of the garment district, which is a very Jewish area, by the way, the Shmata area.
So even when, with all the traveling you did from Morocco to Canada to United States, you were always surrounded with your Jewish community.
Yes.
You never left your roots.
But you know what I realized in hindsight, I talk about it in my book, is that a lot of people are very impressed that I moved to a new country at 17 on my own, but having my family move me from Morocco to Canada at the age of 9 taught me unconsciously that it's not the end of the world. So it was not a scary proposition for me to, again, move to a country.
Right, but you stayed in your community, right? That embraces you, right? The Jewish community took care of you in a way, right? Helping you with the job and things like that.
100%, yeah. I'm very grateful that my cousin gave me a job, even if it was a very low-paying job. It was still a way for me to, start.
And learn, because you needed to learn.
That's right.
So I wanted to tell you another thing that I was thinking about, the name of your book. The name of the book is On the Razor's Edge. And the word edge in Hebrew is katzeh.
Mm-hmm.
And the word for this Torah portion is miketz. Miketz is at the end, but it can also be from the word katzeh. So the edge represents katzeh. But the whole thing here is about shaving, right? The concept here is
it's a metaphor also.
A metaphor for shaving. And shaving is about getting close to the roots. So it's almost like, you're going from the roots to the edge. It's that movement, trying to...
Yeah, for me, calling it On the Razor's Edge was a pun for shaving, but it also meant that entrepreneurs live in a very narrow margin of error, right? One slip can be the difference between success and failure. That's why we always live on the razor's edge.
Right, trying not to get cut.
It could be, exactly. It's a very thin line, almost like somebody walking on a tightrope, but it's a blade. It's less forgiving.
Of course. And the word to shave is giluach. And when you are doing that action of shaving, you're really revealing your skin, right? You're removing the hair and almost like revealing the light. Mm-hmm. We're in the holiday of Hanukkah also, all about the light. And for us in Hebrew, skin is or with ayin. Sounds exactly like when we say the word light, or. It's the same, just with aleph versus ayin. So it's almost like, if you think about it, you chose how to reveal the light. I don't know if you ever even thought about it.
Not at all.
Which I thought was so beautiful. But I'm not sure if you know about it. There is a line, a pasuk, in our Bible, in Leviticus, in Vayikra, that says, "Velo tashchit pe'at ziknecha," which means, do not destroy the side growth of your beard, removing from the root. So as a Jewish man, I wasn't sure, because, we can be Jewish, but we might not be observant or have the knowledge of all the laws of the Torah. So the Torah is giving us a rule, a law, regarding shaving.
That's right.
And the law is that, of course, you see religious men,
course.
Orthodox, very observant people keep their beards, they don't shave. But our sages, big rabbis had to deal with situations, so they tried to use the law and reality and bring it together, and they said, okay, you can shave, right? Well, you of course can cut with scissors, or you can shave as long as you don't remove the hair from the root or actually scratch your
The
skin.
skin.
So I wanted to ask you, because you are the founder or co-founder of the art of shaving. It's literally an art. How are you going to shave without removing the hair, because it's not waxing, right? To really remove the hair from the root, and also not to cut in the skin. So did any of this, like when you thought about the
course.
name, the art of shaving, were you thinking about all of this?
No, but being in the shaving business, I learned that in the Torah, we're not supposed to shave with a blade so closely.
Ta'al, yes.
We also offered many tools for people that are observant to trim very closely without, touching
I
the
love
skin.
that.
But for me, it was a way for me to become successful. I wasn't trying to really blend religion with my business efforts, right? I was catering to many people, including a lot of Jewish customers, but non-Jewish customers, some observant, some non-observant.
But you still learned it, and you
Yes.
still care to serve that community.
Yes, we served all, there's men with beards that need,
Like you,
grooming.
right?
Yes,
You're still, you carry yourself with,
That's
with
right.
a beard.
So grooming can include many, many tools. Men need to trim their eyebrows sometimes, nose hair.
All the fun stuff.
all the fun
Sometimes,
stuff.
the ears, that's why you
know,
stop
what
hearing your wife, the hair.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, right? We talked about that. But sometimes I used to joke that men don't lose the hair on their head, it just relocates.
I love that, the relocation. You relocated, right? Morocco, Canada, United States, and the hair also relocates.
We are nomadic Jews, for
Right.
sure.
And the word for hair is se'ar. And se'ar is the same letters for the word sha'ar. Sha'ar is a gate, right? So when you remove the hair, it's almost like, opening a gate.
I think what's important and not visible about the art of shaving to most people is that shaving was just the opportunity in front of us. What was really important for us is how we infused that business with our passion, and starting with natural ingredients. We wanted to turn shaving into an experience that was enjoyable for men. We wanted to remove chemicals that were harmful to men and replace them with botanical ingredients that come from the earth, and create a working environment, create a company culture where employees feel that they are cared for and that they
That's
enjoy
beautiful.
working. Customers feel that the company is really looking out for their best interest. These were the things we were really passionate about, not really shaving. And we could have taken anything in our path and bring.
But you used that, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe you didn't even realize, but as somebody that was taken away, right? You did not choose to leave your country. You were kind of like uprooted.
Yes.
And for you to go into a business that helped you grow because you didn't cut the roots. You didn't completely remove the roots, because our roots are everything for us. So in your business, you cared about your employees. That's what Torah teaches us, how to treat one another, right?
Care
How
about
to,
people.
right, and with what ingredients you're going to serve them, how your employees. And I was also thinking, it's also that that is a beautiful business because it goes back and kind of like let people reminisce about the old times, the good old times when men will go to get a shave, right? Men
Yeah,
went
it
to
was
those places. So it's kind of like you bring them things that will make them remember the
Yeah,
good old days.
that was the magic. All great brands cause an emotional reaction in
Very
consumers.
much. Very
And
much.
what we discovered after a little bit of time after opening the business was that our customers would have reactions in our store where they would recall their wedding day, they would recall their grandfather. Oh, my father took me. I remember my father shaving.
Your
Or
first shave.
my first shave, he took me to the barber shop. Or on my wedding day, my groomsmen and I, we got a shave. So these little comments and anecdotes were incredible to us because we were listening to people talking about intimate, joyful moments in their lives in our business, which is a great way to create a brand, obviously.
Of course, and this is also the beauty of that job, of that business. You're really, it's almost like, like a barman that serves the liquid, but he gets so much stories, right? And
That's right.
then they're waiting maybe for an input from him. So your employees probably were listening to so many personal stories and maybe even giving their input and maybe helped somebody not just get a shave, but give them a good
That's right.
advice.
When we sold the company, we did a market research on why people love the brand so much. And what the consultants concluded was that we had provided men with a ritual that became an experience that made their day better. So it was, in those days, we didn't call it self-care yet. That term wasn't coined, but we kind of started the self-care movement for men.
Right. That men, it's okay.
And men are very ritualistic creatures. That's in our DNA of the men, right? We like our tools and we like our rituals. And the thing about shaving that few people talk about is that from the beginning of time, the one differentiator between women and men is the facial hair on our face. That's a very unique masculine trait, right? So men shave their face, women usually don't, right? Maybe some exception.
For the most part, yes.
Not as much.
I think also the same thing happened to women, that hair travels, for old age. But
Let's just say, in most cases, we're
yes,
a little
for most
different.
cases. So
That's
you made, and I see it as something so beautiful that after you created this business, you made something so special, you went ahead and you were able to, you sold it, but it's almost like, your baby grew, he's successful, you're letting him go. And you're letting yourself be available for the next.
That's right.
The next mountain.
Well, first, it has to be said that a lot of the magic came from my wife, Miriam, as you know.
Of course.
The creator of
She's
all the
going to be
products.
my second.
Oh, yeah, she should be.
She should be.
Look, I never thought of my business as my baby at all. My identity is not linked to the business. My freedom was dependent on the success of that business. Because if I can be very successful, then I can have the greatest luxury of all, which is to have my freedom of my time. And then I can use my time however I want. And the way I've wanted to use my time was initially to be a father, very present, very hands-on father.
To do your tikkun, right? The correction.
Yes, the correction, that's right, the healing.
from your dad's
That's right.
experience with you.
So by being the kind of father I wanted to be was very healing for me, and now I use my time to try to help others. So that's my purpose and my fulfillment, and I can only do this by scaling and selling my business.
Of
I would
course.
never sell my babies, by the way.
I will let,
Although
I will
they're
let you
about,
know.
they're getting old enough now. They're with her. Bye bye.
Right, right. They're good boys. Our kids are good, even if they don't do exactly what we ask them to
They're
do.
not bad. They do what I say.
Yes, I know your boys. They're beautiful.
They're,
And
they're trained from young age to listen.
exactly, exactly. So when you wrote your book, especially when you felt like, okay, my book is done, I'm ready to release it to the world, what were you hoping that somebody that is reading it will take with him? Were you hoping to give few messages, maybe about, I don't know, if even politically, about immigration, that you think it's something, very important in this land?
Yeah, I think there's many lessons. 90% of people that start businesses will fail. That's why I do what I do, because I care. I consider myself extremely lucky because the odds are so
You mean
much
blessed?
blessed. 90% fail. And of the 10% that succeed, very few people create, great businesses. So my experience has a lot of lessons that I've learned along the way that I wanted to share. I wanted to share the story because people think it's a cool story, this rags to riches, and the story of, coming to America. Story is kind of interesting, it's unique, but more importantly, all the lessons I learned along the way that can hopefully give some clues to others that want to travel the same path to learn something.
Right.
So each person can take something away from it differently.
And to tell people that sometimes you're in a place where you need help, right? Like Joseph was many times through the beginning of his stories, he was in a place where he needed help, but then you get to the point where you are the one who can help others.
That's right.
Like Joseph was able to help his family and the whole nation of Israel,
That's right.
where there was famine, and he was able to distribute food for
That's
everybody.
exactly right.
So that's what I'm saying, your story, I was thinking how amazing it is, and that's what you're doing now.
That's what
you
I'm
are
trying to do, yes.
You're now giving back, and that's, I think, I don't know if you thought about it, one of the things in this book that for people to take, but is it's okay to take, but you also have to give.
You can't help anyone if you don't take. It's like the analogy I use is on the airplane. You have
Right.
to put on your own oxygen mask first,
Of course.
and then your child or others. Because if you're out of breath, you're not helping anyone.
Right.
So you need power to help others. You need resources to help others. Therefore, that's the right path, is to first be selfish in life so that you can be unselfish later on.
Exactly. Another thing I was thinking is about forgiveness. You were discussing, your relationship with your dad, and in the story with Joseph, it was more with his brothers. And at the end, he forgave them. He understood that they changed, or the reason for the behavior. And I think for you, back then there was no therapy. You mentioned you had therapy
Sure.
to understand, and hopefully you also got to the point of forgiveness, right?
Very much
with
so.
your
Not only forgiveness, but understanding, because my father had a very difficult childhood, so he was not equipped. So in many ways, we take blame away from him because he just doesn't have the tools to be the kind of father I needed. But he was a good man, and we developed a good relationship over the years before
Thank
he
God.
passed away. But forgiveness is very important for
For,
us.
of course.
You know, it doesn't change anything. For my father, I was always kind to him. He was kind to me later in life. But I forgave him so that I wouldn't hold that kind
Right.
of emotion in me. But I understood him. I understood where he came from, how hard his life was, how much of a leap he made. You know, the same leap I made from Montreal to now, my father made the leap from the slums of Casablanca to having, you know, a career and a family and supporting them. So it's all relative, but I understood where he came from.
Right. You matured. You became a dad also, right? And you saw the perspective changes. Anything else before we end? You're a man of so many words, and you always have the right things to say, short and sweet. Pass your messages. Any other message that you wanted to really important message to give in this book? So when you're gone and you know your great grandkids are reading your book. And
No,
they,
I mean, you know, something I'm very proud of is that we've always tried to do good while we're doing well. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. You can do good for the world and benefit from it.
Exactly.
Those two things are not in contradiction. They can live together.
And I can vouch that you are this person, because I know that I asked you to be a board member because I thought you can contribute, and that's a thankless job, and you jumped on it. There was not even hesitation. You signed me up, and you
Yeah, I did it to support you and support this mission.
yes, and support this amazing structure where
amazing-
we're sitting, that is
This
so
amazing
magical.
temple that is very important to our community.
It is, and we have to keep it
And
strong.
when I say community, I mean
Worldwide.
community. I don't mean
Yes.
this neighborhood.
No.
I mean
This
the
is
big neighborhood.
This is big in size, and
This is
because
important to the Jewish community in the world.
It is,
So
and I am so happy that you carry our name. Yehuda carries the name of the Jews, Yehudim,
yeah,
and I can be prouder of you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
thankful that I know you and your family, and that you agreed to.
almost as much as we are thankful that we know you.
And thank you for agreeing to come and give
my-
us some of your time
my honor.
and this book. So I hope that anyone that is thinking about business and thinking about, you know, how can I do it? If you could do it when you were 17 with $100 in your pocket, anyone can do it, right?
Yes,
Pretty much.
I believe so.
Okay.
Everyone's capable of it.
Yes. Okay. Yeshar koach
Thank you.
and shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you.